Hey everyone, welcome to another video here on my channel. My name is Christine and I'm a homeschooling mama of 3. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a comparison between All About Reading and Abeka's Level K Language Arts program. This is something that we've just started using with Abeka, and I'm going to talk about why we switched over and yeah, just the differences between the two so that you can get an idea of which curriculum might suit you best. So if you want to see this and more content, please go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you here and keep watching. Alrighty, so I mentioned in our Term 2 update, which I can link for you here, that I switched my daughter Annie from All About Reading to Abeka, their K5 program. So they've got a K4 and a K5. And I did not buy the full Abeka program. I didn't feel like it was necessary to buy the whole program. So I ended up getting a handbook for reading from them, which you can see there. I got all of the phonics readers, which there's a whole bunch of these. You can see. Da-da-da-da. And then I got Letters and Sounds K5, their workbook. I did not get the teacher's edition, and I did not get like the lesson plans and all of that. I didn't feel it necessary. So yeah, there is more that you can purchase. There's like a full program. There's like phonics cards and flashcards and all sorts of bits and pieces. I did not buy all of those because again, I did not feel like they were necessary after watching YouTube reviews of the curriculum and things like that. So let's talk a little bit about these two programs and why I decided to switch over, because I love both of them. This is not a video like complaining about one curriculum and where it lacks and all that kind of stuff. I like both of these for different reasons. And I think something that's really important to keep in mind with homeschooling is that your children are all different. They're all unique. They learn in unique ways. And so what may have been a wonderful curriculum for one child is not necessarily going to be the best fit for another. And that is exactly what happened to us. My eldest child thrived with All About Reading. He did very, very well with it. He's very much a hands-on learner. It has a little bit of like a dyslexic tendencies, and so needed something very straightforward and sort of black and white to guide him through the process of learning how to read. All About Reading was great for that. My daughter, though, is far more of an artistically minded child. I don't like categorizing kids into like, this child is creative and artistic and this child is just like the maths and science kid, because I thought that growing up. In reality, everybody is creative. It's just that creativity looks different in different ways. But I will say that my daughter is someone who loves to color and draw and will literally spend hours doing that. She loves workbooks and handwriting and imagination and all that kind of thing. And my son loves things like imagination and stuff, but it just presents in a very different way. And so, All About Reading was teaching her, but she was not particularly enjoying it. I want to say, what lesson did we get up to? We got up to lesson 12. So there are, I think there's 53 or 54 lessons in total. And yeah, so we got up to lesson 12, and she just, I would bring it out and she'd be like, this one. Whereas previous to that, she was really enjoying learning how to read. And I realized it because All About Reading has several components. So let's talk a little bit about that. And I do have like an unboxing video and a review video and stuff of All About Reading and the components it comes with. So you can go and check that out. But basically, it comes with this book, which is your teacher's manual. It comes with letter tiles, interactive letter tiles, or you can use the app, which is what I prefer to use. And then it comes with a whole bunch of flashcards, which are like your fluency cards, basically. They've got them for your phonograms and also for your words. And then it has an activity book as well that comes along with it. And that's got like activities that correlate to each lesson. It is beautifully laid out, and I still, honestly, if you're new to homeschooling and new to teaching your child how to read, would recommend this probably as the #1 program for getting you started because I just think it is foolproof. And there are ways to make this work. Like, I could have kept going with this with Annie and just used my creativity more and the activities a lot more in here, but I'm tired and I didn't want to. And so that is why I ended up switching over. But really, you could make this work. They have got lots of helpful suggestions. There are some very, very helpful Facebook groups as well that have great suggestions for adapting this and making it work how you want it to. But it is a wonderful spine to use for teaching your child how to read. So I do recommend this. So those are the components it comes with. Oh, and the readers, of course. It comes with 3 readers that, again, go along with the lessons. Now, Abeka, comes with a lot of things. And so I only ended up grabbing the workbook and the phonics readers and a handbook for reading. And this actually isn't technically for level K, but I'd seen it recommended, and it's essentially got like all the reading charts inside this book. And so that is why I went ahead and got it, and I'm very glad I did. So yeah, they both work from a phonics approach, and so that is something I feel pretty strongly about. I think it's severely lacking in our education system is children not being able to read because they don't know how to decipher and decode words because they haven't been taught phonics. And so they can memorize these things, but if they can't memorize it for whatever reason, then they're kind of left struggling. So having a phonics-based curriculum is very important to me. But what All About Reading, how it differs is that it's all hands-on, all tactile, but there's no writing in it. And my daughter Annie, she loves to write. And so I wanted something that had more of a workbook approach to it. And I've actually got another video coming out very soon on the topic of choosing curriculum and like the kinds of curriculums that are out there, whether they be Charlotte Mason or classical or traditional or whatever, and just how the opinions of others can really mar your thought process and your decision-making process in that regard. But basically, Abeka is not often spoken about very fondly in the more modern day homeschool community. Let's just put it that way. Because it is a traditional curriculum that was created to be used in the classroom and has been adapted for homeschoolers to use. But I was raised using Abeka for the vast majority of my homeschool. And while I did not love everything about it, it was a really solid program. And so I was like, oh, I don't know. I would still really like to try it. And after doing a lot of research, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this because I think that this is going to suit my little Miss Annie to a T. And I am so glad that I did. So I'm going to go through what we do with Abeka, how I use it. So we've got this handbook for reading. And inside, I mean, there's lots of videos that do flip throughs and stuff. But it's got like these pages full of special blends, words, and word families, and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't necessarily just do one a day. Just depending on how Annie's doing, we will do like 1 to 2 pages a day. But what I'm focusing on is her really mastering the letter sounds and those special blends. Like I really, really want her to master it so that her brain doesn't have to decode every single thing. That is what I've struggled with a little bit in All About Reading. They have fluency sheets. Annie really hated them and got very overwhelmed with them. And I'll be honest, Jack didn't love them either, but there were ways that I made it work for Jack, and he did fine with them in the end. But it just was not working the same for Annie. And so what I like about Abeka is that they are very, very good at reviewing concepts in different ways so that your child does not get bored just doing the same thing over and over again. And so everything here that I've got ties in very nicely. So we will do 1 to 2 pages of this a day. And that's usually the first thing I'll do. I'll take out one of these and we'll do that. And then I'll go through. These are all out of order now because I think Annie may have pulled them out. I'll grab one of these phonics readers and like make sure it matches up with whatever we were learning in here today, and I'll get her to read a page or two out of that, just depending on how she's doing. You can see in these ones, it's I Learn to Read, and it's literally just a few words, CVC words. They've got like your vowel sounds and some ladders here. You can go up and down these ladders as the child learns. And so it's got I Learn to Read. I think it's got 4 in each section. I Learn to Read. I Am Reading, I think, is the next one. Or I Do Read, and I Can Read Well. So there's several of these, and they just advance and progress right along with everything, and it ties in very, very well with this book. So those two I'm using in conjunction. So that's kind of like the reading portion that we will do together. And then I will get her to do a few pages of this. So she's a little bit more advanced than this is at the moment because we're a little bit into our year so far. So it just depends on how she's going, but we'll like do 2 to 3 pages of this a day. Like we started this in the last week of our second term, and she's already done like several pages in it. So it's fairly simple, but the workbook is just beautiful and colorful, and it goes through the concepts and really just solidifies what she has been learning in the other books. And so that is what we do. That is what I'm doing for her language arts curriculum right now. But I have not said goodbye to All About Reading altogether because, like I said, it's a really good program. So I'm hanging on to it like it's right there by my side when I'm doing this. And if there's anything that Annie might be struggling with or maybe needs further explanation of, or like explaining rules, I can go to this, and it ties in very, very nicely with Abeka. And so it's a great supplement to that, and they work really well together. So I don't know if this was helpful. If you do have questions for me, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. This is my 3rd year homeschooling. I feel a lot more confident about pulling resources together and making my own sort of curriculum up. So if you feel overwhelmed by this as a very new homeschooler, then use this instead, because this is everything like explained to you, and is a very, very solid reading program. This is my second child that I'm teaching how to read, and I just feel a lot more confident in the decisions that I'm making for her. I've seen the fruits of my labor with my older child and how it's all sort of just clicking together now and working itself out. And so I don't necessarily like second guess myself so much. That's my comparison. That's why we have switched for now, and it seems to be working really well. But like I said, I've got All About Reading close at hand to use as a bit of a supplement and just, to lean on when we need it. So that is all. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars,